Hello, my name is Keith Lee, and today I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of cold weather training. One of the pros about cold weather training is that you burn extra calories. Whatever workout you do in warm weather, the cold weather will only max on the caloric burn. This is because the body is quite simply forced to work harder to keep the core temperature regulated. As the body works hard to stay warm, your metabolism is kicked into overdrive, and your body burns through more calories and fat. Another pro to winter training is it's common knowledge that exercise strengthens our body's ability to work peak levels and as a result ward off everything from the common cold to nasty strains of the flu. But some studies in the UK found that by training during the cold months, you are 20 to 30% less likely to succumb to the flu versus those who sit out of training during the winter months. I consider that a pro. A con to winter training is you got to be careful of your environment because working out in the cold leaves you open to injuries or any other kind of things that can come along, like frostbite. Frostbite is an injury caused by freezing of the skin and underlying tissues. First, your skin becomes very cold, red, then numb, hard, and pale. Frostbite is most common on fingers, toes, nose, ears, cheeks, and chin. Exposed skin to the cold or windy weather. So be careful and make sure you're watching the wind chill out there because it affects the temperature. Windy weather is most vulnerable to frostbite, but frostbite can occur on skin covered by gloves or other clothing. So you just have to be careful and watch and be aware of your surroundings. Some signs and symptoms of frostbite can be skin prickly feeling, numbness, red, white, blushish white or grayish yellow skin. You get a hard, waxy looking skin, or you get clumsiness due to joint or muscle stiffness or blistering after rewarming in severe cases. And those are some things you just have to watch out for when you're winter training and make sure you're wearing the proper gear to be out there in that element. More cons for winter training. Here's another one you want to watch out for is hypothermia. Hypothermia is a medical emergency that occurs when your body loses heat faster than it can produce heat, causing a dangerously low body temperature. Normal body temperature is around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, but hypothermia occurs when your body temperature falls below 95 degrees Fahrenheit. When your body temperature drops, your heart, nervous system, and other organs can't work normally. Left untreated, hypothermia can eventually lead to a complete failure of your heart and respiratory system and eventually to death. Hypothermia is often caused by exposure to cold weather or immersion in cold water. Primarily, treatments of hypothermia are methods to warm the body back to a normal temperature, but at the same time, it's all dangerous, so you want to dress appropriately and be aware of what you're doing. Some of the symptoms can be for hypothermia: shivering, slurred speech or mumbling, slow or shallow breathing, weak pulse, clumsiness or lack of coordination, drowsiness or very low energy, confusion, or memory loss are just a few of the symptoms that you can see, or if you notice if somebody was out there working out with you or something like that. But you want to be careful altogether. Okay, so enough with the pros and cons. Let me give you a little science on cold weather training. Exercise aside, there are some clinical signs that simply contend with the cold weather. Encourages the body to transfer everyday white fat, especially body fat and thigh fat, into calorie-burning beige fat. People have more genetic markers for brown fat in the winter than they do the warmer months, according to 2014 University of Kentucky study published in the Journal for Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism. And that could signal slightly more calorie burn in the winter as the body insulates itself. But it would result in the body burning more calories rather than in it converting it into adipose tissue. So, from what I'm reading and from what I've researched, that you're going to burn more of your adipose tissue and your brown tissue than your white tissue, which ultimately, from what I've seen, people call it cold thermogenesis. And they like to go outside for about 10 minutes at a time, and probably about 30, 25 degree weather, and for like 10 minutes and let their body feel it real quick, and then they go back inside and then regulate back to their normal temperature. But they're saying that works, and there's science behind it, and I believe it. So to touch on one more thing, I wanted to get onto how to fuel your body to be prepared to go out in cold weather. And this is coming from the U.S. Army, where they train soldiers at Fort Wainwright up in Alaska. What they do, the first step to staying warm in a cold environment is to properly fuel your body. Depending on your exertion level, a soldier should consume between 4,500 to 6,000 calories and up to 3.5 to 5 quarts of water per day. And this is for light infantrymen. They will require an upper end of that scale, while some who work in the Tactical Operations Center will be on the lower end. So pretty much, you have to fuel your body and prepare it to be ready for those types of stress, to be in that type of weather, to maintain that core temperature. And then, so what I'm gonna do now is walk you through a few dynamic stretches that you can do before doing any type of winter activity. You really want to get a good warm up in before doing anything outdoors in cold temperature, because you want to make sure your body's core temperature is up before you go out there. So we're going to do a couple lunges, rotation to the out, rotate to the in. You do 5 to 6 of those, however you feel comfortable. And you want to make sure you're doing them slow and controlled. Then we're moving into a body weight squat. Then you want to make sure you put a little attention on those hip flexors, some leg swings. Do the right and left. You do it twice.